I got this new Hypertech Max Energy 2.0 programmer that I'm going to try and use to tune up my 15 Silverado. I really want to use it just to kind of get rid of the AFM system below a certain speed, and that's the reason I picked this one, because most of the other tuners or devices that you get, they just turn the AFM all the way off. But I happen to like the AFM at highway speeds, so I'm going to try at different speeds to see what runs the smoothest and gets the best mileage. But with this one, you can disable it for, like, let's say like less than 35 miles per hour, less than 45 miles per hour. The AFM won't turn on, but above that it will. So I can get some pretty ridiculous highway mileage, you know, like maybe 25 mpgs with the V4 mode on and just cruising for like 25 miles. But in town, this thing, yeah, it just drives like crap, you know. It kind of shudders and everything every time it switches between the V4 and V8 mode. And I bought this one off eBay, so hopefully this one doesn't suck and it's not like locked to some VIN or something like that. I'm not sure how these work, but like with the Diablos and things like that, you got to return your tune to stock on whatever car you had it on before you sell it. And hopefully they did that on this, but we'll see if that's even necessary or not. But let's see this how it comes. Let's see what else is in here. This thing was supposedly sold as new, but it definitely doesn't look like it's new, so I highly doubt it. Well, let's check these cables. If these cables aren't open, then maybe. Nah, the cables are opened. Not the USB, so the USB might need to be, well, I'm going to plug it into the computer right now and update it. Alright, going to update the software using the update application. So here I got it hooked up to the OBD port on my Silverado here. And the thing about this is that I couldn't update it using the software. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but it just doesn't work. But anyway, it connected fine once I plugged it into the OBD. It just wouldn't like turn on and be recognized by the USB port that's over here. So I don't know if the cable sucked, but I tried 2 or 3 cables, didn't work. But anyway, we're gonna go through the tuning process now and see if I can just turn the AFM off and then go from there. So the first time there's nothing in the preset tunes, those are for like saved things. So let's see, you have to do the customized tune first. Let's see how this goes. I didn't take the fuses out, so hopefully something doesn't just explode. But I think they want those fuses and things out just so that it doesn't, there's no interruptions in the programming process, like with the radio killing the battery or the remote start flicking on and causing the vehicle to start with this thing plugged in. So as long as I don't touch the remote start, mess with the radio, it should be okay. So let's see, hopefully I can get this thing done quickly. But that was one of the complaints, is it takes about 10 minutes to throw in another tune. So if you want to change any of the parameters, you have to redo all the parameters and then upload the tune again. So I'm probably going to build up a set of presets and go from there. Alright, tuning option successful. So let's see what we got for engine tuning. I'll just leave the engine on stock. I don't want to do anything. I just want to see how the AFM shut-off works. And tire size, gear ratio. My tires are stock size. Gear ratio is stock. V4 mode. This is the one I want here. And those other torque converter and throttle response, I'm going to try and mess with that too. The throttle response, I'm not sure if I'm going to touch it because I have that Vitesse unit in there. But if it doesn't, if this can eliminate that, I'm just going to take that Vitesse guy out and sell it. Let's try the V4 mode. I'm going to try and turn it off, say less than 40, so I do a majority of my driving less than 40. Let's see how this goes. Alright, I'm not sure if I want to change anything else. I'm not sure what shift response is. Alright, let's see. Shift points are like you can raise the RPM and shifting, shift firmness. Let's see what the options are. Alright, so I guess you can kind of only choose street and whatnot. Let's see. They don't have any kind of percentage or numbers or anything like that. Throttle response, yeah, same deal. Torque converter, stock, economy, and street. Alright, let's try I'm gonna try change this one on to put it on street mode. I already know what the AFM feels like off, but I'm gonna try it on street mode and see if I can get the torque converter to run a little bit better. Let's see. Alright, so V4 and torque converter only is flash it. Other settings are stock. Alright. You want to save these as a preset? Yes. Ugh. This is gonna take a while. Oh, great. V4 off. I'll put something like TC Sport or TC Street. Let's see how this goes. V4 off, TC Street. Hopefully I can remember what that means. Alright, so reading for trouble codes. Well, I didn't ask you to do that, but maybe it just does it anyway. No trouble codes reported. That's nice. Nothing's really happened up here on the dash, but it said that some messages might show up. So now it's reading. Some messages up here might show up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's what it said. All these kind of warning lights and limp mode and stuff like that are probably going to turn on. I apologize about the length of this video, but I kind of wanted to get everything on camera here. See if anything else weird pops up here. 17%, 18. Well, it certainly takes longer than one of those Sprint or range devices that you can just plug into the OBD port and turn the AFM off. But this one looks like it's got a little bit more features to it. So it's not just the AFM disabler, and you can also just, like I showed you, the speed for the AFM. Well, I'm just curious why that update process didn't work. Traction control off. Well, you're supposed to pull the radio fuse, the amp fuse, and the remote start fuse, so hopefully I didn't screw anything up here. But it already reset something. Like you can see that's on 32. The screen just went off again. Reading vehicle, 100%. Traction control off and on again. Processing. Well, I hope it's saving the stock somewhere in there. It's got like a stock tune saved already, but I don't know how they would save that many stock tunes into this one device, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I apologize for the flicker. I can see it on the screen here, but I can see those lights kind of flickering on the dash. Alright, well, I'm going to gonna fast forward through this once I do the actual video processing, because this is pretty uneventful. Alright, I'll pick it up when something else happens. The processing finished, and now it says writing vehicle, so I think this is when it's actually writing the tune. So this is kind of the critical point, not to disconnect the battery, don't disconnect this cable. I'm gonna sit here nice and quiet, but you can see I kind of rolled the window down here because it says to roll it down if it gets hot, or if it's hot, because you don't want to mess with the controls or anything like that in the car. So I'm not touching anything. This shouldn't take too long to write, because I really only changed those few parameters, but it looks like it's got to rewrite the whole entire system on this. But I really don't know how these things work yet. I haven't gotten deep into the ECUs or anything on top here. I chose this versus the HP tuners because I couldn't figure out whether you could do a speed dependent disable on the HP tuners or not. And it's a little bit overkill for me because I'm probably not going to be doing any kind of modifications to this truck other than probably the exhaust. I'm not even going to mess with the airbox, but we'll see. So I don't really need the HP tuners kind of degree of tunability to really tune this for maximum horsepower, because it really doesn't lack horsepower too much. It's just, I feel like it's all those electronic nannies and things like that in this truck that are keeping it from performing. Because it's definitely powerful enough and quick enough, it just doesn't feel like that. So hopefully this guy's going to be my savior, and I'm not going to have to touch this truck again, any kind of modifications at all, other than the exhaust, because my exhaust kind of has a hole in it already. I mean, I think the hole's in there on purpose. There's like a weep hole to relieve the moisture, but mine looks like it's rusting out or something bad over there. It's got all kind of black soot, probably from the direct injection kind of thing going on. %. 95. Come on, keep going. Please don't screw up. It'd be my luck that this thing would just crap out right at the last little second and leave me with a bricked vehicle. But come on, let's see what happens. 99, 100%. Traction control on and off again, one more time. Please turn the key to off, then press OK to continue. Okay. Key is now off. And I'm going to press OK. Alright, I'm waiting. Yeah, so this tuner is definitely going to be an exercise in exercising your patience. Don't look at my dirty door handle. Alright, the cluster just shut off completely. The radio's still on, but like an idiot I kept that fuse in, so hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. Alright, please turn the key to run, but do not start. And press OK, okay? Writing complete. Verifying. Alright, so it's probably just going to do some kind of checksum on the tune that it just did. Focus, focus. 32 degrees still. Oh, but it didn't change those, because usually when you take the battery out or something and it goes to like 32 degrees or 0, if you guys use the metric system, Canadians. Alright, please turn the key off, then press OK to continue. Alright, keys off. Okay. Please unplug or press OK to restart the programmer. Alright, well, I think I just gotta unplug this thing, yeah. Alright, well, let's unplug it and give it a drive. Oh man, that thing is really stuck in there good. All right, let's take her for a rip. All right guys, I'm kind of just rolling downhill, but the initial impression first of all is that it made some weird noises. I don't know, the transmission, it was kind of, I guess, real grabby sounding when I first started the car and took off from the stop. And I'm gonna try and slow down over here at the end of my driveway and kind of do another start again, see how this thing goes. But so far it hasn't turned on the AFM at all. There's a car coming behind me, but yeah, so far it hasn't turned the AFM on at all. Yeah, it feels nice and torquey. Just slightly more torquey. I mean, it's not like a huge difference. I think that when I step on the gas, I mean, it just kind of responds slightly more instantly, but it's not really noticeable or a big difference at all. It's probably just in my head. But at first, it did seem to lock up the transmission a little bit quicker than it usually does from a stop, but it was also kind of abrupt too, so I'm not sure if I like that or not. I might turn that off. Never mind guys, I lied. You can totally feel the difference in the torque just kicking in a lower range than it usually does. Alright, with that torque converter setting at what it is definitely making the transmission feel a little bit clunkier. So when it's downshifting, it kind of clunks a little bit harder than it usually does because it's already a bit clunky to begin with. But now I can smoke the tires whenever I feel like. With that throttle controller, it definitely helped smoke the tires a little bit. But now there's like real instant torque down low, and I can just hammer it and spin tires as much as I like. With that thing with the torque converter lockup or whatever on street mode, the transmission just makes too many clicky noises, and it's a little too harsh for what I'm liking. So I'm gonna just turn that thing back off the stock and try and mess with the transmission shifting. I'm gonna put the shift firmness on street. Leave the V4 mode off at that same mile per hour. The torque converter I put back to stock. So from the time that you select all the tune options and hit go basically to write the tunes to the vehicle, it takes about 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes, for it to read the old one and upload the new one on there before it does all this stuff. So it's gonna take 5 to 10 minutes once you. Okay, so here's the settings that I got. I got the V4 mode off, less than 40 miles per hour, which works fine. The shift firmness on street, the torque converter to stock, and it doesn't make the clunkies in the transmission like it was doing with the torque converter on street. The shift firmness is fine like that. It actually kind of feels like a rocket ship if you got your foot on the floor. But otherwise, so far so good. No clunking in the transmission. I think if I put the torque converter on street, it's gonna kill the transmission a little bit faster, or at least roast the torque converter. But I don't know, we'll see. It's too clunky on that, so I'm gonna just keep it stock. Drives a lot better. Alright guys, so I got the Hypertech programmer, the 2.0 here, and I'm putting in one of my final flashes for now, because I tried a whole bunch of settings on this thing, and I don't know, I just don't care for it too much. I tried the various engine tuning things, and they did really weird things that I don't like. You know, like if I stepped on the pedal, it would sounds like the thing was maybe knocking or something like that, or the engine was having to retard the timing, so when I would step on the gas, it would do something really weird. But anyway, turn that off. I tried the different shift settings, and actually the shift pressure was nice, like if you increase the shift pressure, but it kind of feels like a little floaty and kind of like you're kind of, I don't know, whenever it shifts, it kind of like makes you jump a little bit. If you like that, maybe that's cool, but otherwise I don't really want to kill my transmission too quickly with any of these shift modifications. Maybe the only other thing I'm going to do is kind of raise the shift points by maybe like another 500 RPMs or something like that. I don't know, but I'm just going to put this on. I got the V4 on, coming on at a little bit less, or coming on at over 30 miles per hour. So if it's, as long as it's going over 30, I can hit the V4 mode, and under 30 it's only V8, and it helps a lot with the smoothness and stuff in the just everyday driving. Your driving might be different, but I'm always in traffic and I hardly ever drive on the highway. But when I do, I really like the V4 mode giving me that MPG boost, because I can get in the 20s easy on the highway, but around town I'm maybe at 15 or 16. So I'm really just going for smoothness and longevity here, and this is going to be it. Yeah, I just wasn't able to update it, with this USB port down here. Whenever I plugged it into the computer, it just wouldn't light the screen up. I tried various USB cables, different ports, different computers. So I don't know if this unit's just busted or that port's broken or what, but I couldn't update it using their software. It just wasn't recognizing this thing. And that's okay, because this was already supporting my vehicle, so it wasn't like an unsupported vehicle that you have to update this module in order to get it to work. But they might have new tunes, like those canned tunes in there, that might be a little bit better. But the tunes that I had on here, the 91 tune, or like the 93, 91 tune, and the regular tunes on this thing, it was garbage. So I don't know. There's maybe there's a little bit of benefit when the RPMs get going, but at first it's just when you take off from a start, it bogs, and it sounds like it's some kind of ticking and weird stuff. So I don't know. I just turned that thing off because I don't want to kill my engine too fast. But I got this thing for around $200. But if you paid a $350, this is just basically a glorified AFM disabler. So if you're looking for disabling underneath a certain speed only, then this is good. Other than those ones that disable it full time, because you are gonna lose some mileage. If you take take the AFM off full time. Some people may claim that you can increase your MPGs, but by taking off the AFM, but it really is going to depend on your driving. And for me, that's not the case. I lost maybe 1 or 2 MPGs by having the AFM totally off.